amigos, hola amigas, bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Welcome to Lima, Peru. Welcome to the busy, sometimes chaotic, or most of the times chaotic, city of Lima, capital of Peru. Thanks a lot for visiting the city today in this very, very special occasion. I first would like to check if you're able to see and hear me correctly. I ventured today into the historic center of Lima all alone. Not easy really in occasions like this one, but I wanted to show you, to share with you how is the devotion Peruvians have towards the most beloved saint of the Americas. She was Peruvian, she was from Lima, and she used to spend most of her life in this part of the city. The name of today's saint and female we're going to be talking about, but before I do it, let me say hi to you all. Hola. Hello. Hola, hola, Marilyn Berhard. Hello, amigo. Hi. Hello, Michelle. Thank you so much for coming. Hi, Dory. Hi, Ellen. Thanks for visiting Lima City in the historic center of Lima. You can see also that there are, lots of people around. That's because today is the central day of Santa Rosa de Lima, or Saint Rose of Lima. So I will show you where she used to live. I will show you the neighborhood where the Church of Saint Rose is located. We might be able to be surprised with some things on the way. If you have questions, please let me know. I am all alone today, by the way, so if you see someone following me, please let me know. I think it's going to be everything okay. There are lots of police. Let me show you. We have lots of police around because of the special occasion of the central day of Saint Rose of Lima. But before we start officially to talk about this saint, this Limanian woman, one of the most important women of Peru, is Peruvian history, I would like to also ask you, like, if you have any question, just share it with me. Please don't be afraid of sharing a comment, a question. I have more friends that have been already. Be shy with your questions. We're going to start with a walk-in here in the historic center of Lima, showing you some of the most important also religious centers, centers of devotion in Peru. By the way, can you see me well? Can you hear me well, my friends? I would love to know if there's any, let's say, sound problem that maybe I can fix in the beginning. Okay, gracias, Angeli. Thank you. So I want to show you, because today we are going to be talking about a woman of her time. She was not, like the modern women that are, able to be like free and do whatever they wanted to. But in a way she was. And Saint Rose of Lima lived in a time when people were full of fear towards, not behaving correctly. Peruvians were already evangelized. Most Peruvians were evangelized. So we were Catholic. Most Peruvians were Catholic back then, or at least the people in the big cities. And churches were being built everywhere. By the way, this church is not yet the Church of Saint Rose of Lima. This is the Church of Nazarenas. Nazarenas Church is from the 18th century, the 1700s. And the style in it is what we call a Rococo style, very French. You can see that also around the church we have lots of people bending different type of elements that are symbolic about the local faith. We have images of Saint Rose of Lima, for example. Today we have a special dedication to Saint Rose of Lima, Santa Rosa de Lima, the patron saint of the Americas, the Philippines, and the Caribbean. And we have also lots of images where we can see, for example, Jesus Christ crucified that we call Señor de los Milagros. Señor de los Milagros month is October. Octubre. Oh, that's the purple month, we say. Mes morado. So that's the month when we Peruvians, if we are devoted to the Lord of the Miracles, we dress up in those colors. And all the people you see here around the church are people devoted to Señor de los Milagros, and they come usually once a month at least, and always in the central date of the image, which is in the middle of October, to pray, of course, for their protection, the protection of their family. We're going to get a little bit closer to see, I hope we can get to see the central image in this church. So I want just to give you a historic frame, a cultural, religious, historic frame of the time when Saint Rose of Lima lived. So I hope you can get to see, first of all, the amount of people that are coming to see Señor de los Milagros, the Lord of the Miracles. And maybe if I use the Zoom, you will get a chance to see the image of our Lord of the Miracles. So the videoing inside the church, but I think the Zoom will give us a chance to see the image of the main altar. So if you're wondering about this image, who made it, because it's not really the most perfect image. Special about this image is that it was made by a black man, an unknown, anonymous black man in this part of the city. He painted by inspiration, we say by divine inspiration, the image of Jesus Christ, Jesucristo, Jesus Christ crucified on a wall of adobes, of mud bricks, in a simple, sort of like shack of where the black people live, because they were sort of like outcasted of the city. So this was a neighborhood of low-income people, of poor people, of black, of indigenous. In here is where our local devotion started. You can see also there is a mass. You can see the priest there below this painting. And this is the original painting that this anonymous black man made by divine inspiration. And that has also been the reason of lots of miracles that many Limanians had received thanks to it. So that's why we have a church around this wall. And that's why also many people come to visit this place, even after so long. Look at the many dedications to the image. Everything in purple, morado, means is for our Lord of the Miracles. We have rosaries in purple. We have the images that we hang from our chest. The tentes, no? We have all kinds of different elements that are part of our devotion towards the Lord of the Miracles. So we have lots of people that are still selling all of these items since so long. Really, this is the historic place where people come to embrace their faith, a faith that sometimes has been transmitted to them by generations. I remember, for example, one friend of mine who, since very little, he used to come to this church, and he always dressed up in purple during October. So I once asked, why you are like so into the devotion of the Lord of the Miracles? And he said that he owned the Lord of the Miracles his own life, because his mother, when she was pregnant of him, she got very sick, very ill. So she promised the Lord of the Miracles that if she was able to have that baby, she will dedicate that baby to him and will teach him about this miracle. So that's why he was so close to this image. And he is my age, by the way. So he's a modern man, he's a well-educated person, but his devotion is very big towards the Lord of the Miracles. So now I want to show you also where we are here, next to the Church of Nazarenas, where we have the sacred image of Señor de los Milagros, we have also a section where you can add some sweet to your life. We have here a dessert that is very popular, that if you come to Lima, especially during the month of October, you have to have. It is, we say, a sublime flavor, very sweet to be very honest. And you can see also, I think there are some pictures of this dessert. This is the turrón de Doña Pepa. So what is a turrón? A turrón is a nugget. It's a nugget that a black woman, and now we're going to talk a little bit about women in the old days, in the colonial times. You know, there were white women, black women, indigenous women, and we had mestizo. Mestizo was a mix of all of these races, right? And there were even groups of, you know, depending on their backgrounds, you could be mestizo, you could be mulatto, you could be sambo, etc. So this dessert was invented by Doña Pepa. Pepa is the name of actually the nickname for Josefa. Josefas are Pepas here in Latin America. So Doña Pepa, or Lady Pepa, she was a black woman who was a liberta. So she was a free black woman. She was not anymore a slave, but she was very modest, very, very poor. So, well, the story says that this lady was very sick, very ill. She was feeling very bad, and she used to do laundry for the people of the neighborhood. So that was the way she survived. So, well, Doña Pepa asked salvation and help to the Lord of the Miracles. And the Lord of the Miracles once presented to her in her dream, saying, Pepa, I want you to make for me a dessert. And Pepa said, well, my dear God, there's no dessert that will be good enough for you. So God said to her, well, no worries, I'm going to give you a recipe. I will give you the ingredients I want you to mix and make a dessert for me. So, well, she woke up with the ingredients in her mind, and when she made the dessert the way she was taught by God, she came out to the church of Nazarenas and shared this dessert with her friends. Everybody loved it, the nugget of Doña Pepa, and now become one of the heritage foods of Lima. But the black woman in Lima in particular have been always the ones who have added flavor, lots of exquisite good taste to our local food. Here you can see the famous Peruvian picarones. The picarones are the Peruvian donuts, and they are really delicious picarones. They are made from a dough made from sweet potato. So this is how we like them, deep fried, very, very hot, calientitos, as we say, very hot, and always we drink an Inca Cola, which is the soda, the yellow soda that you see right next. So you have to come over here to support also the local economy. Gracias. Sorry, disculpe. So we have over here a series of lots of different stands where we see Peruvian images like of saints, and also Santa Rosa de Lima, buenas, Saint Rose of Lima. Today as the central day, everybody's coming to buy a special, let's say, souvenir from Saint Rose. But also we have other Peruvian saints that are very famous. Well, we have over here the first black saint of America, Saint Martin of Porres, San Martin de Porres. That he was also friend of Rose of Lima. They were friends, gracias, and they live not far away from each other. So now we're going, I think, to talk a little bit more about the life of Saint Rose of Lima back in the colonial period. So when Saint Rose was born, Saint Rose was born in the year 1586. So we're talking about the end of the 16th century, also few decades after the conquest of this territory. So in the first decades of the conquest of Peru, the evangelization of the indigenous in Peru, the Spaniards, the Spanish conquistadors and the religious orders, they did a very, very tough job of eradication of the local faith. And in a way it was very successful, or they believe so. Right? They believe, or look at the picarones over here. They believe that it was a really good work because many people were rapidly converting. To be very honest, of course, the conversion was probably not that perfect because many people were not really getting very well the faith of the Spaniards. They were just transitioning a little bit from their own faith to the new one, and they were trying also to adapt the new faith into the one they understood, the one they knew. That's why also many of the people in Peru still believe in traditional gods. They use herbs, they use magic, like local magic, that you can see also we are still practicing nowadays. And we say it is Catholic, but in reality it's not. Probably it's just more like a santeria for some people or a new Andean belief. So, well, Rose was born in a very, very religious family, family of her time, right? And she was one of 13 siblings. There were 13 siblings in total. So they were, of course, not the richest family. It was very common to have many children back then. And since very young, she shown some inclination towards, being very mystical, or very a mystic. Although she was 5 years old, she was 6 years old, she even at that early age had understanding of, let's say, divine things, of godly things, right? So she lived not far away from here. We're going in direction to the house of SAINT Rose of Lima. And you can see also there are people, I will do a little parenthesis over here, selling letters. Can you see the letters that this gentleman is selling? Also, envelopes, I think it's called in English. So these envelopes that you see, some people are selling, and there are people filling in, right? Can you see that? They are writing in those envelopes that are really, when you unfold them, they are like letters. The messages they want to send to SAINT Rose of Lima. They ask for petitions, they ask for something special that they are requesting for example, health for a relative or job, right? So because they believe SAINT Rose will give them that petition if they ask from their heart. And there are also many people that come back to Lima, even from far, far away locations, just to say thanks to SAINT Rose of Lima because of the conceived miracle. Also, this is really one of the things we always do, sending with all of our faith letters to SAINT Rose. So SAINT Rose of Lima is one of the most beloved saints, as you can see. But although being woman in the time where she lived was not easy, she in a way did what she wanted to with her life, and I will tell you how. So first of all, she was, as you know already, part of a family that was very low income, a very hardworking family of Spanish mestizos. So she was probably like very, very beautiful. And this is described also by many of his biographers, many of his friends that met her, of course, when she was very young, and expressed that she was very good looking. So good looking that she tried to erase her beauty, like doing all kinds of things to damage her beautiful face. Like, for example, sleeping on a pillow of rocks, or changing her mattress with woods, for example, or rocks. So the way she tried to punish herself, punish her body was not because she was a crazy person. Now maybe people will say that, oh, she had a schizophrenia or something like that. But instead, she really believed that the way to God, and that was also inspired in other saint women of her of the colonial or earlier times of history. She believed that that was the way God will be pleased, and also that she could help humanity. Especially because back then, in the old days, women, although they could be very, inclined to do, for example, evangelization as the men enrolled, for example, in missions, women were not allowed to be missionaries. Right? So women were unfortunately not allowed to have the chance of spread the word of God in distant locations. We have another Rose of Lima, more like a child. So they were limited, although very, very limited in what they could do or how they could profess their love for God. And missionaries, male missionaries, they sometimes died for the faith, for the cause of the faith. So as a woman, if you wanted to show the same, say, a love and passion for God, and you couldn't die for God, you will punish your body in behalf of the sinners, in behalf of the people that were not behaving good, in behalf of the indigenous who were not accepting the faith, right? So this is the reason why she also used a lot of these punishments, physical punishments that were very common in those days, right? So I want to give you a chance first to see the line to get into the house of Saint Rose of Lima. Look at the line we say cola in Spanish, is huge. There are people that for hours having queuing to get inside the old house of Rose of Lima, the house where she lived, where is located a famous well, pozo, the well of the wishes, where people drop their letters. Everybody is carrying letters, right? Can you see that? And what they are trying to do is bringing those petitions, those letters, into the well of Saint Rose. So, and here, I want to also tell you a couple of things about the history of this location. There where you see the Church of Saint Rose of Lima, this is the Church of Saint Rose of Lima, is where the house of Saint Rose used to be. The house of her parents, her house also. She moved to some locations within Lima a couple of times, but this was the house where she spent most of her life. And the house is really next to the church. I will give you some information about where is this house, and we will see the front of the house in a moment. But also, over here we have another famous religious construction. This is the Casa de San Martín de Porres, the house of Saint Martin of Porres, the first black saint of America. Right? So we have in Peru the first black saint of America and the first female saint of America, of the New World, right? So we are very proud, of course, of that. Well, Rose of Lima, and I think I have some pictures to share. I don't know if internet will be able to help me. So you know already a little bit about the way how Rose looks. Right, so here if you want to see an image of Saint Rose of Lima, the way how we remember or portray her is there. And also, a few years ago, about 10 years ago, it was made a reconstruction of the face of Saint Rose of Lima. I mentioned that she was very pretty, very beautiful. So in the comments, I'm sharing a 3D reconstruction that was made using her skull of how she looked, and indeed, well, the way her features were, it showed that she was a very attractive woman, but she was committed to her faith, to being wife of Jesus since very young. So she never agreed in having, let's say, or accepting any suitor for marriage. So, also, let's talk a little bit about the church before we talk about the last years of Rose of Lima. And also look at the line. Sorry, I'm really impressed by seeing so many people this year, and maybe more people than usual, because for 2 years we were not able to do things that we are passionate about because of COVID. For example, going to religious places, going to places of our tradition, right? With the ones we love, sharing these spiritual moments with the people we love. So, well, the church you see here, there's another really interesting aspect about the church. I'll try to move a little bit because there are many people on my way. By the way, friends, I hope you're enjoying this event. It has been really, really emotional and special for me coming to see all of this and seeing my city again, back the way it was. And my people, the people of my city, enjoying themselves this much, their culture. So this is the front of the church of Saint Rose of Lima. But the church has been really passed through a huge transformation over the years. So I want you to give a look to the picture I am posting. So please open it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the image over there. So where is the front of the church you are seeing there? Where is the church front? Is in the same location where we are, or is looking to the avenue that I have next? What do you think? Please give me a comment. I would like to know what are your thoughts. So we'll try to put, let's say, close to the perspective where that picture was taken. Well, it was across the street, but this is just to give you an idea. Okay, so I think you might be wondering, this doesn't look that the way it originally was. And if you're wondering that, well, of course, that's true. The front of the church used to be in the middle of the avenue you see here. This is Avenida Tacna Avenue, and there's a bridge also. Can you see the bridge over there, my friends? So it is the same bridge that you see in the picture. And the front of the church used to be in the middle of the avenue over here. But when this avenue was amplified in the 1940s, the church was destroyed, was partially destroyed. And it came, it entered into a time of sadness, a time of, for people that were devoted to St. Rose. It was a really sad time. So for a long time, for several decades, the construction was with no restoration, with no apparent, relocation of the main altar, until the 1980s, 1990s, when finally the church was reconstructed, at least the front, right? And also inside the church, it was adapted to, let's say, to look a little bit the same it used to be. So, of course, that the line to throw the letter is not this one. It would be impossible to be this easy to get into the well, which is over there. We're going to try to get a little bit close to the entrance, and just to show you how it is to be in this line and what the people see. So what we are seeing here, look at this. What we see here is the entrance. I'll try to help you looking a little bit better inside. So this was the access into the orchard of the house of Rose of Lima, or Saint Rose of Lima, meaning that the house, the front, is on the other side. It's not here. Nowadays, this is the entrance into the house, but no. In the old days, the orchard, which is the patio we're seeing here, is where Rose, to be very honest, spent most of the time, but it was deep inside the house. She was a sister of the Orden Terciaria of the Dominicans. What this means, the Terciaria Order is the one that was created by the Dominicans for people who didn't want to live in convents. Instead, they preferred to live a life of sanctity as civilians, in the city. right? So she lived in the house of her parents. She didn't live in a monastery, in a convent, but she recluded inside the house of her parents, and even built for herself a little, let's say, room in the middle of the patio where she could be far away from the noises of the city and the temptations of the city, and she could pray for the souls of the people of Lima. Also, in that little orchard where is the well as well, where people throw the letters in. She used to plant different type of fruits. She used to plant like all kinds of different goods that she later gave away to the poor people of Lima. And now I want to take you a little bit closer to the church. We're not going to get too deep, because also another problem sometimes is connection. There's so many people connected and doing video chats. We have some problems with the internet, but just to have the chance of seeing a little bit of the entrance, look at this church. Remember that the church was restored in recent times to look like the one that we used to have. But the main altar used to be on that side, not there. I don't know if you get a little bit the idea. If you go back to the image I shared with you, so the bottom part of the church, which was in that direction, is where the main altar was. Nowadays, it has been changed into that direction, and now you see the main altar, where you can see also images, paintings. All of the paintings around here are about the life of the saint, right? So we will keep walking a little bit. I want to keep sharing with you more things. One of the famous miracles that happened around the life of Rose of Lima, or Saint Rose of Lima, that is considered one of the most famous of her life. And I'm sharing here a painting from the 17th century, in which you can see the transfiguration of Rose of Lima when she was a little girl. So when she was very tiny in her crypt, the mother of Rose, by the way, she was not born Rose. She was born Isabel Flores de Oliva. That was her name. But soon after she was born, her name changed into Rose. And the reason is because once the mother of Rose approached to the baby when she was very young, she was in her crib, and when she saw her from a close distance, she saw her turn into a beautiful rose, like with all the petals, all the beauty of a rose. And well, she was really surprised, and since then, she was called Rosa, rose, right? So this painting is a representation of the transfiguration of Rose of Lima into a rose. But also, not all her life was that easy, that soft. And here I have another picture about one of the habits that she had in the old days to punish her body. This is a painting also from the same period that shows how she used to sometimes punish so deeply herself that there you can see that she is sleeping standing, and the way how she avoided really to be sleeping for long was to tie her hair on the with a sort of like a nail that was in a wall. Right, so in that way, she avoid sleeping for long because sometimes she deprive herself for long periods of time of sleep. Right, so this is a little bit of how life was back then. But a way that she also, this shows that she was a person of temper was the fact that her parents wanted her to be married. They didn't want her to be a nun or dedicated to God, and they tried to persuade her in many occasions to marry men of wealth that will give her a good life. But she decided not to, as she did not accept the petitions of her parents. Although she loved them very much and she was very obedient, she found ways to avoid marrying, to avoid doing something that her heart didn't tell her to do. So my friends, do you remember the front of the church where it used to be? Well, this section of the church used to be part of the original structure. So the front of the church was originally here. Sorry if I'm moving too fast the camera. In the middle of the road over there. Can you see that? So we used to have the front of the church there, and the avenue used to be much thinner, much smaller, not as wide. But in the 1940s, after a really bad earthquake we had in Lima, in 1940 there was a terrible earthquake in the city. Lots of buildings collapsed. So we unfortunately were not able to restore lots of architecture. And also this earthquake and the destruction caused by the earthquake caused also, in a way, let's say this new intention of, instead of rebuilding things the way they used to be, why not we just open avenues to make room for prosperity, modernity, and especially let's say the wider traffic that we were already feeling Lima would have. Few months ago, my friends, this part of the church, look at this section here, was in process of restoration, and these beautiful murals were rediscovered by a team of specialists, of archaeologists, who now are in the process of restoring part of them. As you can see, the only sections that were able to be fully rescued are the ones over here, but also it has been completed, the patrons here in this section. This is the restoration part. So now we have an idea how the Church of Rose of Lima looked back in the 18th century. Probably this is painting from the 18th century or end of the 17th century, right? So we have also another special fair dedicated to Rose of Lima. So now I will go back to the story of Rose, to the last moments of life of Rose. And as a follower of Saint Catherine of Siena, who was also a woman of the 14th century, if I remember, who was also, like the type of person that used flagellation and also a way to punish and bring upon her the sins of people and clean the world of these sins. Hola, William, hello. So she believed that was her call, no? And that's why she used a lot of, of punishment over her body. She deprived of eating. She didn't eat much, and that's why also her last years were full of pains, aches, and she had an aged body. Although she was just in her 30s, she died at 31 years old. So this part over here, by the way, this is the house where Rose of Lima, Saint Rose of Lima, used to live, Santa Rosa. Gracias. So we have over here first the house, the entrance, and a gentleman is also telling me, here is the image. So we have the fair of Santa Rosa. Welcome, dice, bienvenidos, right? So we are enjoying the date of the celebration of Saint Rose, right? So across this little park, we have the entrance to the House of Rose, Santa Rosa. And look at this. This is really the exit for the people who are coming to throw their letters, their petitions to Rose. So many people are coming directly to here to get into the house. It's really sad news for them. They will have to do a long queue, as you know already. Many have no idea. But that is the exit, they say, of this house, which is also a museum. There is a museum here, a small museum about the life of Rose. So remember, this was the entrance, right? The entrance of the house. And the orchard and the well are deep inside in the patio of the house, right? So Rose of Lima died of extenuation, of lots of physical pain that she inflicted in herself, but she believed all was worth it. Every time she was a little bit closer, to experimenting extreme pain, she felt closer to the love of God. Even also, she had this mystical wedding with God, with Jesus. A few months before she died, she felt the calling of God in her revelations. She mentioned that in her biography. Before she died, she mentioned this story that she felt God calling her, asking her, be my wife, sé mi esposa, be my wife. And she, felt so much happiness because for so many years she was waiting for this moment of God revealing that desire with her. So she married God in the beginning of the year 1617, and she died in August of 1617. She was 31 years old. So the central day of Rose of Lima celebration is today, is August the 30th, because that was the time also when she became canonized. She was canonized in the year 1671, and since then she has become the most beloved saint of Latin America, female saint of Latin America. You will see images of her in Mexico, in the Philippines, also that other side of the world, Asia. You're going to see images of her in North America. You can see images everywhere in South America, in Europe as well, as one of the initiators, let's say, of the sort of like this flame, this love really for the Catholic beliefs, the Catholic religion, by locals, by the indigenous or the children of the indigenous. So she's a proof in a way that there was fruit also of the coming of a new faith, and very soon, quite soon. She, San Martin of Porres, San Dominic of Guzman, we have, San Francis of Solano, we have San Juan Macias, we have also Santo Toribio de Mogrovejo. So we have 5 Peruvian saints. All of them live at the same time in Lima. They were friends, they knew each other, they walk around these streets. It's really impressive. When you think about that, doesn't matter what faith you have, what religion you have, people that are historically so much loved around the world, that have been so inspiring, and they've been able to walk and meet in this exact location, is really special and touching. I really hope you enjoy this event, my friends. If you can, please give me a follow if you want to see more events like this one. Sometimes I go out to do street tours. Most of the times I'm doing tours from my home, from in Lima as well. I do different experimental tours from home, but when there's a special occasion, I like to take you with me. If you have the chance also, if it's part of your possibility to support this channel with a tip, that would be super, super fantastic. As you know, these are pay as you wish or just tip supported events. Thank you, Dori. Thank you, Marilyn, for your support. If you don't know how to do it, let me activate a button that will give you some information about how to do it. All your support, is highly appreciated and very much well received. So, thanks a lot, amigos, and gracias, Bernard. Thank you. I really hope you enjoy the event, really, really, and learn something new. Lima is a city that is very, very engaging. We have so many kinds of different stories and realities. So, next time maybe I'm going to take you to a different location in Lima. But I hope today you had a fun time and you enjoy learning about the history of Rose of Lima, Saint Rose of Lima. Gracias, Dori. Yes, Dori, I am so excited to have you. Please come visit soon. Maybe we can go to have some picarones or some turrón de Doña Pepa here. Gracias, Marilyn. Thank you, Angeli. Thank you, Len. Thanks for your support. See you very soon. And tomorrow I have a tour also from home. So if you would like to get to know a little bit of what I'm going to be doing, follow me, follow my channel, give a look to my activity tomorrow. It's going to be really interesting as well. Take care, my friends. See you soon. Best to you and lots of love from your friend and tour guide in Lima, Peru, Vanessa. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye. If you would like to know a little bit more about my also local tours, in-person tours. I am sharing, by the way, an image with all my information. So you can take a screenshot of that if you wish, or a postcard. And well, I hope you can also follow this channel. Bye-bye. Thank you. See you. Have a lovely rest of the day. I'll go now to do my line to throw a letter into the well of Rose of Lima. Just in case. Bye-bye.